50 and he's a free man. He is not a people pleaser. He is more for a happy life than a successful life. He has mastered the immaculate art of being very, very, very honest with his expressions, even though sometimes it goes against his brand. He is somebody who has also mastered the art of doing so many things at the same time that people are convinced that he is the master of all. He is also in search of something, though he says he has it all. एक शेर है कि हम भी दरिया हैं, हमें अपना हुनर मालूम है, जिस तरफ भी चल पड़ेंगे रास्ता हो जाएगा. He is fluid. You cannot box him, even though it might be a hamper from Coffee with Karan. Kejo, how are you?
Good, thank you. What a lovely introduction. I love the share that you just recited. It's
Thank
beautiful.
you. Not mine, somebody else's.
Yeah, but बहुत अच्छी तरह आपने निभाया.
First of all, happy birthday, Karan.
Thank you. Thank you.
And जिस फेज में हैं आप अपनी जिंदगी के, उसके लिए आपको बहुत मुबारकबाद.
Thank you.
The happiness shows through.
Happiness is such a transient feeling.
It is.
Because happiness, आज happy होंगे, कल आप sad हो सकते हो. I would say that I'm relieved and content, both. Relieved because I feel like I'm being able to match up to all my duties, parental as well as a son, and then as a proprietor to the people working for my company. I feel I'm managing those dynamics and relationships. So I'm relieved that I can do that. Content because I stare at my two children's faces every morning and I thank the universe for bringing them into my life. Like I feel कि कुछ तो इस जन्म में या पिछले जन्म में कुछ तो अच्छा किया होगा that I have Yash and Ruhi to look at, stare at, to get those hugs and kisses and just that warmth of their presence in my life. And then I see that sunshine look on my mother's face and I feel that you know, this is it. So I can't be ungrateful about all that has been given. You know, then there will be low days and sad days and वो जिंदगी का सफर है. As कभी खुशी है तो कभी गम है.
That's true.
So I just want to celebrate the khushi at all times.
Of course.
And try and not brush the gum under the carpet, but definitely acknowledge it, but not let it weigh me down.
You know, I was coming to the set. So right now we are in Yash Raj Studios where it all began. This is the 7th season. Tell me something, Karan. It was never actually about the guests. It has always been about you, isn't it?
But I always say one thing, Atika, that the show is always as good as the guests are. I may be shining on my own as a host if I am in my element. That is, if I am in my element. But the show doesn't ever work if the guests are not up to speed with the energy of the show. So, ये मेरे बारे में है, of course, it's always about me because it's called Coffee with Karan. And the Karan must shine through. But I believe that the show is always, the episode works if the guests work.
That's true.
That is something that I've noticed that the best episodes have been when the guests have been spectacular.
Guests have been. Karan, I have to have you acknowledge 2 to 3 things. You have to say it on national television कि शादी 2 बार हो सकती है. बोलिए हो सकती है.
बिल्कुल 2 बार हो सकती है. वो बिल्कुल fraudulent line था. उस लाइन की कोई समझ नहीं है उस फिल्म में. पता नहीं how I got away with it.
और लड़का लड़की दोस्त भी हो सकते हैं.
हाँ, of course दोस्त हो सकते हैं. शादी वो प्यार एक बार होता है, बिल्कुल नहीं 4 बार हो सकता है. शादी एक बार होती है, 4 बार हो सकती है. सब कुछ I think वो इतना, और उसने खुद as a character इन बातों को नहीं निभाया. He also fell in love twice. He also got married twice. So I don't understand what he was saying and what I was thinking. But it's the innocence thing that we pulled it off.
But there are still people who take cinema very seriously. मैं
उनके लिए मैं कहना चाहता हूँ बिल्कुल झूठ है जो हमने लिखा था और शाहरुख खान ने बोला था. ये झूठ है, सरासर झूठ है. और मैं ये जानना चाहता हूँ, मेरे भी 5 साल के बच्चे, कि अगर मैंने चिट्ठियां लिखी तो वो क्या पढ़ेंगे और उन 8 चिट्ठियों में क्या लिखा होगा उस रानी मुखर्जी ने, और वो बच्ची ने क्या समझा होगा, कि वो क्या सोच समझ के ये पॉइंट में ले आया था फिल्म में. आई डोंट अंडरस्टैंड. लेकिन इतना प्यार और कन्विक्शन था दिल में कि दिल में कोई मैल नहीं था जब हम ये सीन्स लिख रहे थे और बना रहे थे ये फिल्म. आई थिंक दैट वो जो सादगी वो बाहर आ गई.
या बट आपको पता है इनका असली नाम क्या है? राहुल कुमार जौहर.
या माय जन्मपत्री में मेरा नाम राहुल है.
अमेजिंग.
तो मेरी माँ ने मुझे राहुल नाम रखा था. 6 दिन बाद उनको एक सपना आया कि मेरा नाम करण होना चाहिए. तो जब वो उठी तो उन्होंने पापा से कहा कि आई वांट टू नेम माय सन करण. तो नाम बदल दिया, लेकिन जन्मपत्री में नाम राहुल कुमार है.
तो इसीलिए आपने अपनी हर मूवी में राहुल नाम तो सुना होगा.
राहुल तो अभी है.
As a filmmaker, you're always in the position of power, right? You are commanding all the actors on the set. But when you become an anchor of a celebrity chat show, you give a little bit of your power away to the guests. What is it about this format that enchants you so much that you give it almost equal privilege and importance as your film career?
I actually don't give it as equal. That's not really entirely true. I feel I'm a talk show host and a talk show host of a talk show as because I'm a filmmaker. I feel it's a perk. and I enjoy it. It's also something I enjoy. But to me, my primary passion is being a filmmaker. But unfortunately, the show has so much noise around it that it always seeks precedence. Like in terms of people come up to me and ask me more about the show than my movies.
Than the movies.
And I feel sad about that on some level because I'm like, yeah, I'm a filmmaker first. I'm not a talk show host as my identity. I've been introduced at places that, oh, he's one of the leading talk shows. I'm like, yeah, I'm a filmmaker. I'm like, why are you saying this? I remember I was in a moment, I remember we were in New York and Shah Rukh was with me and there was another, so Deepak Chopra was there and he was introducing a whole group of, he was saying, this is a big director, biggest actor, biggest actress. And then he turned to me and says, biggest talk show host. And I was like, Shah Rukh said, sharam aani chahiye tumhe. Okay, he's thinking of you as a talk show host.
He's a five-time Filmfare Award winner, Padma Shri, National Award winner and talk shows.
Talk shows. But I'm like, I have to know कि show का impact ही कुछ ऐसा है. Pop culture का moment है. उस हिसाब से उसकी जो popularity level sometimes seeks precedence, like I said. तो when I do the show, I feel मैं ये show इसीलिए कर रहा हूँ क्योंकि मैं filmmaker हूँ, इसलिए तो लोग आते हैं क्योंकि I'm using my clout as a filmmaker to get people to come. But it's still completely second in my list of passions.
But you know how beautifully you have also metamorphosized as a personality. I remember the first season, the show was more restrained, formal, a little lesson in manners, you know, and now it's like more of a drawing room conversation. It is also reflective of the personality changes that you have had in the last 7 years.
If you see every season, you can see me evolve.
Yeah, and also open up. You're out of the box. You're out of the shell.
Absolutely, because I think the fears, insecurities, and apprehensions have gone.
Yes.
I don't pretend to be anything else than I am.
Yes.
I like to say that whether it's in the book that I wrote with Poonam Saxena or
An Unsuitable Boy,
or the way I project that 80% of me is real. That 20% we'll always keep.
Yeah.
You know, because अगर सारा दिखा देंगे तो फिर मजा क्या?
मजा क्या?
तो 80% of what I project and what I'm saying is really coming from my heart.
That's true.
That 20% I will always hold.
That's true. Any bad day that you're having, you have to watch his interviews. They suddenly just lift your spirit and you start to feel so much happier about the world and the life and particularly the film industry. The amount of accolades that you have, Karan, you are dismissive of your own mystique. You are sometimes dismissive of the own accomplishments that you have gathered over the past several years, you know. Why don't you wear an invisible crown on your head and why do you mock yourself so often in the interviews?
I don't mock, I say the truth. You know, now I say what I feel.
Look at other directors in Hollywood,
I don't know about others. I know that everybody has their own trumpet and they want to blow it, they can.
Yeah.
I choose not to blow my trumpet because I don't think I have a beautiful trumpet. I think that there's a lot more to creating that trumpet, which I will blow when I need to blow it. Right now, I feel like I'm a filmmaker who's made films that have got love, some haven't got love. Have I made that career path-defining film? I don't think so. Personally, I really don't think so. Am I the best filmmaker in the country? I don't think so. Am I like the most gorgeous, stunning person in the world? No, I don't think so. No, I mean, so I don't believe any of these things. Am I good at what I do? Of course, that's why I've created what I have. But am I the best? Not at all.
No.
There are many people better than me.
Cut some slack. Please don't do
No, but
that.
I believe it. So when I praise other filmmakers or their movies, I believe like Lagan is I believe a film that deserves to be in the archives of cinema. Yes, somebody could say, yes, Kabhi Khushi Kabhi Gham deserves also, but I don't think so. I don't think it's as great a film as Lagan is. Because Lagan is a cinematic marvel. Have I yet made my cinematic marvel? No. Will I do? I don't know.
You will.
I'll attempt. In my head, the day, Atika, I make that film, I'll know in my head and heart I've made that film that is really, truly the best film that deserves to be in a book of 50 best Indian films. Right now, I haven't made that.
Yeah. You will very soon in the next 5 years.
Chalo.
And
Inshallah.
You've given that target to yourself, right? 7 films in the next 10 years?
6 to 7 films in the
More
next 10
power
years.
to you.
Yeah.
Tell me, in the last several years of Coffee with Karan's history, which is that one moment where you thought all the grind and the hard work was worth it?
During the show, it was actually a couple of moments like that. It started when first Shah Rukh, Kajol and Rani came. It was a very emotional moment for me to have the cast of my first film as the first guest of my. That was emotional. When Salman came with his brothers, I felt I've known them when I was a child. I was like, that was a big moment for me. When the Kapoor Khandan came together, today it's even more emotional because 2 of them are not with us.
Yeah.
You know, those were some of the moments that I felt really made me feel like that this show will go down in memory, not for its frivolousness, not for its cringeworthy viewing or its guilty pleasure viewing, but also for the fact that it's created some conversation.
It can happen only
with
on this
legends.
stage. Yes.
Even with Amit Uncle and Abhishek coming, like some of these were defining moments. I think, right?
Yeah. True. Karan, though people sometimes think of this show as a time pass show, maza aata hai, but I think there's also an intellectual quality to it. What has been your intellectual learning in the last many years from this show?
I don't know if it's intellectual or it's profound, but I think what happens is that the artists who come, they reveal a true part of themselves. And that is what makes the show not profound but relatable.
And you also learn from it?
Yes, because I feel like to make them relatable is also an art form.
An art form, yeah.
I kind of drop the walls that they surround themselves with, so that what you see is a closest version of themselves as they are. You'll get to come very close to know how they are as people from the show.
Yeah.
But that doesn't happen in every other interview.
Have you ever cried after going back home?
I cried once when Shah Rukh did a solo interview with me when he spoke about my dad. I remember that's the only time in Coffee with Karan that I got teary-eyed, where he spoke about my dad and I got very emotional.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Any other moments that you remember? Profound moments?
There must have been, Atika, but I don't think the show is very profound.
Why is it not profound?
I don't want it to
You
be.
can make it profound.
For
You can
what?
make it anything.
But I don't want. I think this is the show you must watch just to put your feet up and have a good laugh. I don't want. For profound, there are many other things.
K3 ji देखो.
नहीं profound K3 जी कुछ और देख लो.
तख्त देखना तख्त.
जो भी देखना है देख लो. मैं कोई profound नहीं दे रहा आपको. अगर आपने draw कर लिया उसे तो आपकी मर्जी.
That's true. Once Shabana Azmi said to me, it's a well-known fact that कुछ कुछ होता है was politically a wrong film.
Yes, of course.
And she said कि आपने ये बोला nation को कि जिन लड़कियों के बाल छोटे होते हैं वो sexy नहीं होती हैं. अनुराग कश्यप says कि हम पढ़ने सिनेमा हॉल जाते हैं सीखने और मस्ती करने स्कूल जाते हैं. उल्टा करो ना जैसे होना चाहिए. What is your take? Do you think?
No, I remember Shabana ji calling me कि क्या कहना चाहते हैं आप? क्योंकि बाल छोटे थे तो इश्क नहीं हुआ, बाल लंबे और खूबसूरत हो गए तो इश्क हो गया. क्या कहना चाहते हैं? ऐसे मैं माफी मांगना चाहता हूँ मुझे. मैं और क्या कहूँ? I had no justification. She was right. It is very politically incorrect.
Yeah.
And I told you even the एक बार जीते एक बार मरते, all that is also झूठ. So there's a lot of things that are wrong politically about the gender politics of that film is very skewed and wrong.
Yeah.
I'm not standing by those. I stand by the nostalgia element of Kuch Kuch Hota Hai, not its gender politics. Today, any woke person will tell you that there are loud, big, screaming errors in that film. But I'll tell you one thing. Kuch Kuch Hota Hai at that time also had its heart in its right place.
Yes.
मैंने जो सोच अलग थी ना, वो दौर अलग था. So I never thought I was offending women or putting them in. I've been raised by women.
Yes.
I've been raised by such a strong woman. I'm such a feminist myself. मुझे पता ही नहीं था, and no one else even thought differently at that time. As I said, वक्त और दौर अलग था.
Yeah. But आपने अपनी मदर की बात की. इनकी मदर का नाम है हीरू जौहर. You know that. इनकी बेटे का नाम है यश, इनके फादर के नाम पर, और बेटी का नाम है रूही. हीरू का उल्टा रूही. और यश ने कुछ दिनों पहले एक वीडियो में बोला, दादा, I don't like you when you do.
Yeah, my pouting. Can you imagine? I mean, I was like, I'm getting trolled in my own house. I'm like, सबसे बड़ा troll तो मेरा बेटा निकला.
But so smart that
He's
boy
very sharp.
is.
He's very sharp.
For a boy
and now that day in London we were there and some fans had come up and he said again he's screaming, Dada, again you're posing like this. I was like, अरे छोड़ दो मुझे. मुझे मेरे हाल पे छोड़ दो. मुझे हाल में अभी ना पाउटिंग मेरे चेहरे का हिस्सा बन चुका है. अभी ये लेना है तो ले लो वरना भाड़ में जाओ. मेरा यही है.
Amazing. Karan, finally, we are short on time. What would you like your epitaph to read?
He came, he did, he conquered.
He came, he did, he conquered.
He didn't just see, he did.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah. That's so true. How many movies till now?
7.
7.
Yeah.
More than 7? I mean, productions are like... 50 se upar, more than 7 directorials, judge. I was a student of psychology. Some people who work a lot do it for a reason. What's your reason for multitasking and working so much?
To run away from myself. Because if I sit in silence and solitude, I will get thoughts I don't want. So a lot of times, covering your day with many things is escapism. And I'm an escapist. I never claim to be not.
Amazing. You are the best. Just remember that universe loves you, Karan. You've given us so much happiness. Once Javed Akhtar Saab had said कि a man walked up to him and said कि आप ये फिल्मों को जो गाली देते हैं, मैं उनसे कहता हूँ अरे मैं हमारी जिंदगी में जितने ट्रेडिशंस हैं, जो आदर्श हैं, वो सब फिल्मों के ही तो दिए गए हैं. So you know, हमारी जिंदगी में आपकी फिल्मों ने जो दिया है वो है खुशियाँ, एस्केपिज्म. जिंदगी तो है ही डिफिकल्ट, लेकिन उससे आपकी फिल्मों ने हमें बहुत खूबसूरत लम्हों की तरफ भेजा. एंड थैंक यू फॉर दैट. यू जस्ट डू व्हाटएवर gives you happiness, and the entire universe is standing with you in support of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Atika.